course, they're taking their funds away, their firearms, their fundamental values, taking everything away, including your freedom. But I recently announced my plan to deliver more opportunity, security, fairness, and prosperity to the black community, to the Hispanic community. The fact is that I've done more for the black community than any president since Abraham Lincoln.
You fucking liar.
We want to start, though, with an unprecedented review that we're handling this pandemic for the country's most prestigious medical journal, getting involved in politics for the first time in its more than 200-year history.
Yeah, you holler like a bitch.
The 35 editors who signed the editorial did not mention President Trump by name, but said, quote, when it comes to the response to the largest public health crisis of our time, our current political leaders have demonstrated that they are dangerously incompetent. We should not abet them and enable the deaths of thousands more Americans by allowing them to keep their jobs. It is also worth noting that they did not endorse Joe Biden either here. Joining me now with more, Dr. Eric Rubin, editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine and associate physician at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Doctor, thanks for joining us on this. Really appreciate it. Wow, this was unprecedented, and it certainly got a lot of mileage on mine, considering that you are the New England Journal of Medicine and saying this out loud, that this administration mishandled the COVID crisis, turning it into a tragedy. Why break this long history of staying out of politics now?
We're a medical journal, Yasmin, and I think that we are interested in trying to get the message out there for what should be done to help people's general health and to help the public health. And we can only put those messages out there and hope that people implement them. But it's been very frustrating to see that this hasn't been happening through this crisis. And the consequence of that is that many extra people lost their lives. Now's a decision time. If this were any other time, I don't think we'd do this. But because it's right before the election, we wanted to make it clear that it's easy to focus on today's events, but the larger picture is we're not doing well.
So I want to read parts of this piece because I think it's incredible, some of what you said. So at one point you say, we have failed at almost every step. We had ample warning, but when the disease first arrived, we were incapable of testing effectively and couldn't provide even the most basic personal protective equipment to healthcare workers and the general public. And we continue to be way behind the curve in testing. Moreover, a lack of emphasis on developing capacity has meant the United States test results are often along the way, rendering the results useless for disease control. What do you think was the biggest failure of this U.S. government so far in dealing with this pandemic?
I'm going to give you a disappointing answer, which is that the biggest failure is not implementing the very simple package of interventions that have worked in other places. And that means the things that you know about. It means masks and social distancing. It means testing and contact tracing and quarantine and isolation. They have worked successfully in the countries that have been able to use them as important tools. And some places have almost or completely wiped out viral transmission. We're the most powerful, the wealthiest country on earth, and we're doing terribly.
So we have this, we're at this point now where we're able to look back and think about some of the decisions that we made along the way. And there was a moment where we looked to Wuhan, where we looked to China and some of the stringent measures that they were putting into place in order to mitigate the spread of this thing. As an American, many of us looked to China and thought, that will never happen here in the United States. That can't happen here in the United States because we're not that type of government. We don't operate like that. Should we have instituted the type of measures that China put in place?
Well, maybe instead of looking to China, we should look to New Zealand. That's a democracy that's very similar to ours. It doesn't have an authoritarian government like China does. And yet, they did implement very similar measures. They had a smaller problem than China to deal with. They had the ability of geographic isolation. And yet, they had a very strict lockdown for everybody, not just for one city. And these strict control of the border. And it worked. They were able to limit transmission and eventually wipe out transmission. They had a small number of transmission events recently, but that's come back. And the consequence of that is not only did they save lives or prevent disease and eventually save lives, but they have a wide open economy now. They don't wear masks. They go to giant rugby games. We could have used all of those measures, and we simply haven't done it consistently.
So there's one other part of this piece that really stood out to me, and it was when you wrote about the CDC, NIH, and FDA. And at one point you said the Food and Drug Administration has been shamefully politicized, appearing to respond to pressure from the administration rather than scientific evidence. You also say the CDC, which is the world's leading disease response organization, has been eviscerated and suffered dramatic testing, and the NIH has been part of the development of vaccine development, but has been excluded from much of crucial government development. So, do you think that these organizations can come back? Do you think the FDA can come back after losing so much credibility and politicizing what's happening right now?
I absolutely think so. The staff, the scientific staff of these organizations is top notch. I think the problem is not the quality of advice that the government was receiving. It's excellent. It's that it was ignored consistently. So I do think that we have built great government institutions over decades. We have undermined them to some extent, but I have total faith that they will come back and be what they were once upon a time.
Just quickly, I need you to fact check something for me. So the president at one point said he's going to be able to distribute this antibody cocktail named Regeneron to all Americans, and he's going to make it free. You're smiling a bit because you know the healthcare system and you know how things work. How factual is that something like that can happen?
Well, it's hard for me to comment on the logistics. I will say that nothing like that has ever happened, so it would be unprecedented.
Well, I need to know. Dr. Eric Rubin, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I want to bring in my panel now. NBC's Heidi Frisbella, Michael Steele, Senior Advisor for the Lincoln Project and former RNC Chair, and Philippe Reines, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and former spokesman for Hillary Clinton. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. Pretty astounding that we sit here today, and I just spoke to the editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, who is essentially urging all Americans to vote this current administration out. I think you guys often sit in the same position I do, which you ask, I can't believe this is happening today. But in fact, here we are. So Heidi, talk us through this. Let's talk first about this event that we saw today from the president. He was up there for 20 minutes. That is not something that we see from the president normally.
Yasmin, the president told Bob Woodward months ago, look, I downplay it. And this is the kind of climax of all of that, is to stand up from the balcony in front of the American people and have this big super spreader event at the White House, pretending as if you actually don't have it when he could still be spreading virus. We saw a tweet come out yesterday that he's going to start holding rallies again next week, 3 of them, one right after the other. So, look, the COVID handling that the president's handling of COVID has proved to be a death blow potentially for his campaign. We're seeing these numbers really crystallize with some key demographic groups that he cannot afford to lose, like seniors, like people who in polls say they don't particularly prefer either candidate, like people who voted for third-party candidates. All of that now consolidating behind Joe Biden over this concern about how the president has handled COVID. So, he continues to behave like this. There's a lot of unknowns as well about his own health, like you said in the previous block, whether he's even still positive, whether he's on those steroids, and this is just a steroid high, and he's going to continue to experience symptoms. All these things still unknown, and yet he's continuing to do this despite what's happening in those public polls.
Michael, let's talk about the president's events that he has planned. He had his first public event today, as Heidi mentioned. We're going to have 3 back-to-back, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. At this point, we still don't know whether or not this president is negative with COVID. At this point, we still don't actually know even how the president feels. That he's not feeling 100% Donald Trump because he only spoke for 20 minutes today. Marie for 90 minutes or so. affect so many people and his orbit, and we are having consistent reporting of the White House. And this administration are working legitimately
Well, then you need to quit. I'm telling you, COVID-infested environment in which the President of the United States has no regard for your own health, let alone his. Quit. I mean, I don't know what
Ew.
almost 74 years old. He's got COVID-19. Negative. They haven't released that information. Still dancing around these facts. You're concerned about their health, and you don't see anything changing. You don't know what else.
You read the English magazine piece that was released last week, and the piece they say he has to
Dumbasses fighting each other.
They haven't been up until last week. And so now all of a sudden people are walking around in masks. I mean, how many folks got 2 weeks ago? How many sick coming out of this event? You know, you pay for people to come in and stand on the lawn of the White House, which of course is a violation. We won't get into that. What do you
Ew.
At this point, the only thing this has to change. The only way it changes is when you this is how it changes, folks. Those of you who have this sort of, event here, which is unfortunate. The man said and there's nothing he seems to want to do about it. And all we can do at this point is to sort of vote the sickness out.
There is a way in which this president is seeing folks that have died from COVID, and it's similar to the way about his parents and how they view in this New York Magazine piece.
Dumbass.
Nothing to worry about. It's supposed to be very children, as young as 1 year. The president is
People thought this.
Dumb.
I don't really care what they're worried about. They've chosen to be there. And the reason that they're there is for, self-preservation, self-enrichment, and they were the seeds and the best to begin with. They're the ones doing the real damage of it. Look, Donald Trump is a failed experiment. And for as shaken as we all are about seeing the decisions that 35-40% of our fellow citizens have made in the last 4 years, particularly 2016, I am having a sudden burst of faith in humanity that we're going to fix this. And by all accounts, and I'm supposed to not jinx it, I'm part of the losing team in 2016. Behind us, but we won't be playing these games of, the President of the United States making it worse. We'll be on a safer path to vaccination. We'll have some kind of coherent national mass strategy. And we will download this really big.
Senate Republicans are saying no that you didn't basically saying we're going to go along Caribbean American communities just like this one, but the question is,
need to protect the safety of those who walk. When you come into Walgreens, you get a paycheck for you. You become people. Do your part and defend your crew against the
So we said for a better country. But in this, the most successful of those days, in America, so we saved $12,000 in donation.
They were so stress-free. The whole process was amazing, and I'm definitely recommending.
We are not a discount broker. These are top-level agents that'll get you the best results.
History says, find jewelry for occasions. We say, forget occasions. Find jewelry for yourself. We're Missouri, the new luxury.
Rich Wallet doesn't have a typical wallet. It's smaller, money expansive cards and cash. It's made of military-grade materials. Comes in 12 colors with a cash wrap or a money clip. It blocks RFID, has a lifetime warranty and free shipping and return. Order today at Rich.com.
It's hard to believe that we're able to go from 0 to 500 degrees in under 1 second. Or that it precisely cooks 3
You good? Oh.